Hi everyone, thank you for being here. Today we are talking about emotional freedom. What is it? Why is it important? And what can we do today to embrace it a little bit more? Emotional freedom is closely related to the idea of emotional regulation, which is a word that has been constantly thrown out over these past few years, and it is your ability to process your emotions in real time after the fact and be able to do something with them and get to a better place emotionally. Emotions are all of the things that we are feeling all the time. They are the things that color our worlds. We can be blue with sadness or red with anger, and oftentimes colors are associated with different emotions. And these associations help us connect to these emotions a lot more and to figure out why they're there. But if we don't know what these emotions are trying to tell us, we won't know why they're there. So what are your emotions trying to tell you? Are they showing up to tell you that you don't like being in this place that you are right now because you're feeling this discomfort and this anxiety and this terror when you go to certain places? Are you feeling a sadness because you're thinking of a time that has gone by and people who are no longer in your life or how things used to be? Are you excited about an upcoming trip and a place that you're going to go to for the first time, or seeing your best friend across the country? What emotions are you feeling and when are you feeling them? This will tell you a lot about what it is that you do and you don't like, because your emotions are the way that we are interpreting the world around us. When we go to work and we are dragging our feet and we're so tired and we can't wait for the end of the day and we dread when the weekend is over, it is our body telling us, our emotions telling us that the state that we're in isn't working for us, because these emotions drain our entire life from us. They take our energy constantly, and they're much more difficult to deal with than happy emotions. When you're excited, when you're in a place that you feel comfortable, when you are moving through a challenge but you're excited by it and you're enjoying the challenge that is in front of you, these are the things that you're looking towards. And emotional freedom is understanding what you're feeling and when you're feeling it, what is actually happening in the greater context. When you're constantly handing other people the power to influence your emotions, you are not free, because freedom means that no one can take from us, that there's nothing left to lose here. There's nothing that someone could take from you. And your emotional freedom is you understanding that your emotions are your responsibility and the world around you is happening whether you want it to or not. And the only thing you can do is to filter out what is and what isn't working for you. So you have to decide what is going to be right for you and what is not, because you are the only person who can determine that. And figure out what you feel and when throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month, throughout your year. Are you excited for the holidays? Are you looking forward to summer? Are you looking forward to your vacations? And if you are looking forward to these things, why are you not looking forward to other things? And emotional freedom means that you're willing to sit with your emotions and figure it out. You aren't just trying to get rid of them. You're not trying to outrun them. You're not trying to put them in a jar in a corner of your mind. You are trying to sit with them and figure it out. And that is what emotions want from you, is to be heard and to be understood. Just like that movie Inside Out, where all of the little emotions are taking control of the board. That is what's happening in your own mind, actually. These emotions are taking control and they're dragging you through life, but you have to decide how that's going to continue to happen. If you want to be a victim to your emotions and to the outside world and to your reactions or to your lack of reactions, then continue as you have been, because most of the time, if you haven't thought about this at all, you are letting your emotions take better of you, and they are leading you instead of you guiding them to a better place. When we feel happy, when we feel angry, we are also practicing these emotions constantly. If you get mad while you're driving, if you are happy when you're at home these are emotions that you've practiced, and you can practice the new ones just as much. But you have to decide to keep doing that and to keep showing up for you. You have to decide that what other people are doing is their task. It is up to them to figure out. It is not on you to make happen something out of their behavior or not. They have to regulate it, they have to figure it out, and you have to respond. And when you do respond, you are responsible for however that response occurs, regardless of what they did. And it is a tough thing to realize, but it is true. When your boss tells you something or you're assigned something that you feel like you shouldn't have to deal with, you expressing that and exactly how you feel isn't going to bode well for you. You have to keep your emotions in check at work to some extent, but you should also keep your emotions in a better place as much as possible. And if we can give ourselves a breath, if we can step back and be like, why am I feeling this way? And is it just a thought? Is it just something that I'm thinking? Is this actually what's happening? And our emotions can run away from us very easily. If we think something's going to happen, our mind will do and see everything else in reality as that emotion and try to prove you right, because you are constantly trying to make sense of the world around you. So what you're feeling on the inside is what you're going to seek and find and see in the outside world. So if you're angry, you will find things that will continue to make you angry. If you look for faults in other people, you will continue to do so. Your mind wants to reinforce whatever it is that you're doing. So what is it that you're doing and what are you feeling? How are you feeling in any of these situations? And this is where that work starts. This is why a lot of people recommend journaling and sitting with your thoughts and your emotions to figure out why they're there. If you feel grief over a time of your life passing, but you feel stuck in that feeling, you aren't moving through it, you aren't processing these emotions, writing it out, going to talk to someone about this professionally, and being aware is going to help you get there. But you have to do the work for yourself. Other people cannot do it for you. Your friends should not have to feel like they need to talk to you about why you're behaving a certain way. It's not up to anyone but you to determine and to execute a different you based off of what you're feeling, doing, thinking. All of these things can be regulated. You can choose to react differently in certain situations, but if you haven't practiced behaving and reacting differently in situations, you're gonna keep doing the same thing, and it's gonna keep you where you are. If you wanna move forward, if you want to embrace freedom in all of these categories, you have to decide and you have to move forward. That is all that you can do, and that is the most important thing that you can do, is to keep stepping forward and to realize, why do I feel this way? And if it's not a good feeling, those good feelings aren't always the ones we are going to feel. Sometimes you're going to be sad and upset and angry and hurt, but how long are you staying there? Are you processing through them, or do you keep going back to them day after day after day? Are you continuously in the same state all the time? And if you are, you have to realize why. And if you are facing something that makes you angry all the time, what part of you do you see in that person, in that situation? What is it reflecting to you? If you have encountered anger, or you don't like someone, or you hate how something's going on, what is that telling you? If you're angry about a situation, where do you feel like you're handing your power away? That is usually when anger comes around, is because you feel like you haven't figured out what's going on and you're handing the power to someone else. You're angry because they're taking advantage of your time. They are forcing you to do stuff that you don't know how to at work. That anger is real, and it's really telling you that at some point along the lines, you let too much slip, too much go, that you should have stood firm on. But now is your chance. This anger is telling you, you know what? This is the direction we need to go. Not all anger is doing that. If you are constantly angry about things, where do you feel like your power is going away from you? How do you bring it back to yourself? How can you do that? start writing, start figuring out, start analyzing when these emotions are coming up. Are you really excited at 2 o'clock? Because that's when you go and get a candy bar and at the break room and you get a coffee and you talk to your favorite coworker. What is happening? Why are these emotions coming up? What in the outside world is triggering them? And how can you start showing them to the rest of the world? And that is the why. This is why we need to care about emotional freedom. If we're just going through the world, reacting, not reacting, unaware, we aren't in control. We're just letting every person that's walking by us, every situation that's there or not there, tell us how we should feel, versus us deciding what emotions we're going to feel and do whatever we can to make those happen. You might be thinking, what? How can I plan to be happy or plan to not be sad? Well, you're planning, hopefully, other things in your life. Why aren't you planning out your emotional budget that you're spending? You only have so many emotions and each of them requires a certain amount of energy. If you spent all of it, you're probably going to be like, I don't want to do anything else. I'm just going to sit on the couch and do nothing else. And then you cannot work on the things that you want to. You cannot move forward in your dreams because you spent all your energy being upset that the guy in front of you, the car in front of you, isn't moving fast enough in traffic. Instead of realizing that that energy is better served you figuring out what you want to do with your life, instead of yelling at some random person that in 10 minutes from now you're not going to care about, but you're still going to be in a deficit from because you've spent that energy. Your energy is a currency, your emotions are a currency, and who gets access to it? Are you just handing your money to anybody whenever they ask, however much they ask? Maybe, but maybe not. And that is what you're doing with your emotions when you're allowing anybody to trigger or to pull out, extract any emotion that they feel, or they're just living their life and you're creating this emotional mess around it, and that's on you to clean up. So that's why emotional freedom matters, is we have to start being an active participant in what we're doing in life and why. It does not matter what other people are doing. What matters is how we are reacting to it, and that is what we have to do. That is what our purpose is. No one else can take that from us unless we hand that power away. When you are angry, when you're happy, and it is an external force that is doing that, it is because you are handing your power to that thing. And that is up to you to stop doing. So decide today that that is not going to be who you are anymore. So what can you actually do about this? How do you get there? This is all great and dandy, but what does it have to do with me on a daily basis? How do I get there? Journaling is a great way to figure out why you are feeling the way that you are. And yes, you might be thinking, well, I can't just start journaling in the middle of a conversation that's making me mad. But if you are realizing in that moment that it's making you mad, you've already created enough space to step back and say, actually, I don't want to feel this way. And you usually don't want to feel this way because other people are constantly going to act in whatever way they are. You want to figure out how you're going to act. How are you going to express yourself? And if you have this emotional freedom, if you aren't allowing the world to tell you how to feel or act or think, you are taking charge of your life, and you can actually now take that energy and move it into a direction that you want to. So how are you going to do that? What other steps are there? Now, writing is a really great way to do that. But like we've said, emotions color our world and they make it pretty or they make it very dark, but that is what our emotions are doing. And one way that I figured out over these years is that stickers are a great way to express your emotions, to express what you like in a way that has less effort. The joy is very much there and that you don't have to put that much effort into getting it. You might have seen creating vision boards and cutting out your favorite pictures and looking at the palm trees and the lemon trees and all of that, but stickers are a quick way to get there. Stickers make everything better. Bloom has a lot of stickers. There's other places you can get stickers. Amazon has a bunch of them. You don't need to buy thousands and thousands of stickers. I personally have because I put them on everything. But even for a while for me, I didn't, and I realized that it just wasn't working for me to constantly be in my head or just black and white paper and ink, and I was missing the color, I was missing the excitement. And I have a bunch of markers and things that I use in my journals, and I write things out and I make it colorful and I make it pretty because it shows me that I can put in the time and the effort and I can make things look nice. And if I want my world to look nice and my emotions color that world, the colors I pick, the emotions I pick should be pretty as well. And that stickers and markers and all of these ways to add color into our life is a simple way to get there quicker. So if you do journal, I highly encourage getting some stickers, putting some fun ones on there. There's monthly ones, there's themed ones, there's seasonal ones, there's travel ones, there's daily planner ones. I'm not telling you have to go and get a planner and then like use a specific sticker every single day of the year. You could, that's definitely possible. But what I am saying is that you control the emotional bandwidth that you give to the world and the emotions that you go through. You could be angry, you could be happy, but at the end of the day, you control which one you're going to do and be and practice. So what are you practicing? What are you sharing with the world? How are you showing up for yourself and those around you? And how can you start importing more stickers into your life so that you can say, you know what? It was not a great day, but there's this really cute sticker of a donut truck and I'm gonna put it on something and I'm just going to sit in that emotion. Stickers aren't going to fix your emotional reactions to everything. Colored markers will not do that either. You have to put in the work. You don't have to get a single sticker, a single marker, or necessarily a journal, but what you do have to do is to take responsibility for how you react to the world and how you show up in it. Because at the end of the day, our freedom lies in what we are doing and not in what anyone else is saying or thinking or believing about us. What we do matters more than anything else, and we should know why we're doing it if we want to live an intentional life, a better life, a life full of beautiful colors and not ones that are running into one another, washed out, and really just not a pretty picture. Create a pretty life with your emotions by figuring out why are they there. Let me know what you are doing to make your emotions a little bit more colorful. What stickers do you like? I've recently found Bloom. They're pretty cool. I will continue to talk about stickers in my videos, but I'll also keep talking about what we are going to do together in this new year that can bring all of these ideas together that we've talked about, that we're going to talk about up until the very beginning of December. And yeah, we're going to have the best 2026 that we can because we're taking our power back. Yep, I'm telling you, we're doing it. You got to join the party and enjoy your life. Have an amazing week. I will see you very soon.